Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Jodo Cast, your Star Wars gaming podcast. This is episode 85. My name is Evan Lewis. I am, of course, joined by Joe Latovsky.
Heyo.
Heyo.
I missed the last episode, so I don't remember if I came up with a catchphrase noise or not.
Not yet. I think that's still being workshopped. Well, at least as of last time it was being workshopped.
Gonk, gonk.
Gonk gonk? Alright.
Gonk.
Perfect. It works. Put that on a t-shirt. Print it. We'd have Leo, but he's out playing Star Wars games, so we can't really fault him too much, I suppose. But people who we definitely cannot fault, people who are fantastic, are all of our patrons over at patreon.com. And there is a little bit of a story. We had made a point of saying that there are podcasters, specifically those at Rebel Force Radio, who should not be behaving the way that they are. And someone didn't like that. And they pulled, and they said, okay, that's fine. But then other folks were kind enough to give us a shout-out on Twitter, because we support the Force Out hate, and we don't want hateful people around. And Scott just saw us tweet that and was like, you know what? We're going to tweet this out. So thank you very much, Scott. That's really awesome. We appreciate that a lot. And then we had a couple of people bump up their pledges. Christian and Kurt, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. We don't expect anybody to do this for us. We don't expect anyone to give more than they can possibly afford to. And I mean, the fact that people upgrade or come on brand new and maybe don't even know us that well is ridiculously appreciated. It blows our collective minds every time it happens.
I think I've said it before. It's always weird to me that people support us on Patreon, just because it's like, wow. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, we're not being facetious when we say this. We are constantly blown away by it. So thank you to everyone that gives at patreon.com. But then we also do want to say thank you to everyone who just listens and comes to talk with us and shares the love of the fandom and knows not to... I don't have the right words for it. Be a toxic fan. We haven't really had that on our Discord, and it's worked out really well. And I hope that other folks can find that same space, and if they are looking for a place, that, you know, we certainly have that, and we appreciate everyone who's a part of our community. Even if you disagree with our stances on things, we're not going to call you out by name and drag you down, because that's fine. You be you. And we appreciate your time and everybody else's. So thank you all. And you can find more information on that by following the link to Patreon over at jodocast.com, along with all the rest of the social media links, and especially that Discord server that we keep mentioning, because we hang out there all day, every day, and talk with awesome people just like you. And it's great. And while you're over at jodocast.com, there's a feedback survey, and you can tell us all the things you want us to do different. And I think, and of course, wherever you listen to us, please leave a review, rating, and comment. Whatever is available there, it really helps us get the word out. Okay, there's a lot of talking by me. I want Joe to do some talking. I want him to tell me what he's been playing.
I have been playing... I guess a lot, and weirdly, more in the video game department. So I'll start with Imperial Assault. So not video games. I got in some Imperial Assault, made a new video. Should be up by the time you hear this. We're doing some store championship practice, because store championships are in like 2 weeks. And been playing some Legion. We have a weekly Legion League every Monday night. That's been pretty fun. Even though there aren't that many people, and the ones who do show up, like, only half of us get there on time, but it's still fun. So I've been playing Legion and Imperial Assault, and then been playing Battlefront like usual. There was a new update. The new Hero Starfighter mode is actually kind of boring, but it's not that bad. And for the first time ever, I played Jedi Knight Jedi Academy.
Ooh.
Because that was in those batch of games that became backwards compatible from the original Xbox. Since it was in my game library, I'm like, okay, I'll finally give this a try. And it was actually a lot of fun. Like, it came out in 2003. I wasn't expecting much, and it was a blast. So that was exciting. The graphics, I mean, it was kind of dated, but also, like, still really fun. I might compile more coherent, lengthy thoughts on the game later, but I did base most of my actions on the fact that my character had no pants, and nobody at Luke's Jedi Academy offered me any pants, even though everybody else had pants, and that drove me down a dark path, because I just needed pants, and I thought the Jedi could offer that, and they didn't.
You had to go outside the Jedi to learn about the greater truths of the.
Well, nobody
of the
would
pants.
give me pants. I just had to kill everybody.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Another game, not nearly as old, but that I played for the first time is my wife and I finally started playing Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens, which is amazing. Super fun. Definitely the best Lego game I've played so far. Although it is kind of... It's interesting and cool and weird that all of the main characters from the movie do the voices for the game. A lot of the audio is just pulled straight from the movie, but a lot of it is original voice work done for the game. And it's cool, and it's funny, and then it's weird when you're just, like, picturing Harrison Ford saying these things. And then it's weird when, like, Carrie Fisher starts talking about Lego stuff, and you're like, oh, this is kind of strange feeling. But it's hilarious, and it's a lot of fun. It's great co-op. I've been enjoying it. We're trying to 100% it, so that's going to take us a while. It's really fun.
You made me wonder. Actually, there's two games I'm wondering about if they are backwards compatible yet, and I just haven't seen them. The first being Republic Commando, because I never played. It is good. I will try to get that, and maybe we can do that at some point. And the other one is, what was it, Lego Star Wars 3?
But hold on, sorry.
Yeah.
You haven't played Republic Commando?
Correct. I played the demo when it was on the, what was it? Was it an Episode 2 DVD that had a demo of it?
It might have. I think that sounds about right.
So I played that, so I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then I was not in a position to get it when it was
really good.
Oh.
And it is, I think it's like $10 on the Xbox Store.
Excellent. That's one that I think I'll be interested in doing, because when we were doing the Force Unleashed playthrough, I mean, I think both you and I have probably played that ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Before, so
well, enough.
Yes, more than enough. And then, did they ever make backwards compatible? What was it, Lego Star Wars 3 Clone Wars?
See, I'm not sure. I don't think so. That game was also fantastic, even though it only covered like the first 3 seasons of the show, so story-wise it was kind of whatever. I think that was also one of the last Lego games that didn't use voice acting, or like fully voiced lines, and it was still like Lego mumbled talk, which was funny. But that one was really good. I don't think it's been made backwards compatible.
Because that one seemed the most interesting to me of the first 3. Like, that's the one that I really wanted to check out and then never did.
Yeah, that one's good, but I mean, if you have, just get Lego Force Awakens, that game it's been stellar so far. And hilarious. Like, just the things the stormtroopers say when you're walking through Starkiller Base or whatever. They're like, I'm bored, you want to go to the shooting range? And the guy's like, nah, I don't ever need to use the shooting range again with the score I got. And they're like, what? I hit a 3 out of 20. And the other one's like, whoa, that's a new base record. How did you do it? I just closed my eyes, and funnily enough, I actually shot better with my eyes closed.
Yeah, I played the Nema Outpost demo when that first went up, and I don't know, maybe I hadn't played enough of the previous games because it was just really, really frustrating, and I couldn't figure out what the hell it wanted me to do. So
this one does add, like the new thing is when you build something, you can now break it and then use those same bricks to build something else. So a lot of times you'll need to, one pile of bricks will require you to build 3 different things in like the right order to get whatever you need done.
Okay.
But I think my favorite thing from, you're at Maz's castle and you're just fighting stormtroopers and you build like a giant cake and a flame trooper and 2 stormtroopers run up to it and they put on some birthday hats and they're like, oh yeah, cake, I'll light the candles, and the flamethrower guy does it. And obviously this cake is like a bomb. Obviously. And the other flame trooper way in the back, she's like, hey, it's not a normal cake. And the guys at the cake are like, we know, it's a giant cake. And then it blows up and they die, and you hear Harrison Ford, Han Solo say, huh, my wish came true. Like,
oh my goodness.
And I love thinking about it like it's not Lego. Like, it's so brutal. You just suckered these idiots. They're so, like, naive, this Lego Stormtroopers. And then the one who didn't fall for the ruse is like, the bad thing, or she's like, it really was his birthday, you meanies. Like, it's just... And then you drop a statue on her and she dies too.
Oh, of course. Obviously. That's what happens.
It's hardcore. I'm just always blown away by every character in that game, more or less, has their own unique animations for like tiptoeing or just walking or just standing idly, and their attacks. Everybody has their own unique thing. Like, if you stand there with Palpatine, you'll sit there and like wring his hands together and like look all shifty.
Well, one of these days, I guess I'll just have to get it.
It's pretty great.
Cool.
I'm sure once we're done 100%ing it, neither of us will want to play it again, because that's a big time investment.
Yeah.
Oh, the other cool thing I really like is it has like side missions. You can play as Han and Chewie capturing the Rathtars. Like, so you have, he's actually got like a full crew, and you see them getting eaten off one by the Rathtars.
That sounds pretty awesome. Well, for me, I have not been playing Battlefront. I mean, I started again when they released the Han Solo stuff, and I don't know. I have like very high highs and very low lows, and it just was, I don't know. It was not going well for me for a bit there. And for some reason, I don't even know why. Maybe it's just the big marketing push for the next expansion, but Destiny, not Star Wars Destiny, but Destiny the shooter series for Xbox, I've been playing that a lot. And I think I just enjoyed the shooting action, like the actual like gunplay as a shooter game better than Battlefront. Battlefront 2 is much, much better than Battlefront 1. I do enjoy it more on there, but I don't know. I guess I'm just better at more of a Halo type of shooter than one that is closer hewn to Battlefield / Call of Duty style. I don't know. Just me being weird. But we had been doing weekly Edge of the Empire.
Well, we can get you into Gears of War, and you can try out that multiplayer. It definitely has a steep learning curve.
Oh, just like with its mechanics?
Well, I mean, playing the camp, it's weird. The multiplayer and the campaign have the same gameplay mechanics, but the way you interact with the world and your enemies in the campaign and online are so different. Like, a lot of people really like the campaign and don't care about the multiplayer at all, just because it's such a leap. It's hard to explain. Mostly because it moves way faster and everybody knows exactly how to like roll around and get you before you even know what hit you.
Is it competitive multiplayer? I thought it was just...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't put much thought into competitive in that one.
Gears of War 1, 2006, that was the first game I ever really got into and really good at online competitively.
Yeah, I'm sure co-op is much more my jam, and I know Gears does co-op pretty well.
Yes.
So I will definitely look forward to that. I'm surprising myself how good I am at PvP on Destiny, but not a Destiny podcast.
Give me the word, and I will. I'll drop what I'm doing, and we can play through Gears co-op.
I know. I downloaded it, and I'm just like, one of these days, we're gonna do it. I don't know when, but it'll happen. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, we had been playing Edge of the Empire RPG pretty much weekly, and we got to a stopping point on that. We got through 2 fairly good length adventures, and I didn't want people to get burnt out, and I have a very drop-in, drop-out policy with this game. It's like, if you can be there, great. If not, we're not gonna halt the game.
Did you just say that their person's just staying on the ship, or what?
Yeah, I mean, depending on who it is or what they wound up doing previously, we'll find some reason why they're not there. Like, oh, he drank too much, he's asleep. Or he's getting the ship right, he's watching the ship. Yeah, so just whatever we need to do, because I've got a core group of 3 people. And then we've got a rotating group of 1, 2, 3, 4 other people who just sort of come and go as their schedules allow. So the core group, the core 3, have gone through the whole thing, and then just, one-off characters sometimes are there, and they make it interesting, and then they're not there the next time, which is fine. I wanted to run it very much like a... public play, organized play sort of thing, where it's like, you can be here one week and then you can be gone the next. It's not like we're going to stop the game. We're not going to cancel because you can't be there, which has been nice. But yeah, I didn't want them to get too burnt out on Edge of the Empire, so we're playing a little bit of D&D now, just was it aperitif, as a palate cleanser. But I know they're excited to get back into Edge of the Empire. They're just now to the point where they've got enough experience points to start getting really good at stuff. And they're starting to really glom onto their characters and make them work. As far as just characters and not just, people that punch things. And I am really hoping that by the time people hear this episode, I will have finally gotten in a Star Wars Destiny draft. The store that I want to go to is 15 minutes away. It is just the next town over. I just got to fight through some stoplights to get there. And it's Saturday afternoon. No excuses. I should be able to go. And we shall see how that turns out. But yeah, I have not been playing. I haven't been playing too many card games recently, or miniatures. Although I finally do have a table at which I can start doing painting. So I'm going to be going back to all of our old episodes. Every time I asked you, so what do I need to start? How should I start? Hopefully that will be happening within the next month or so. I am quite excited. Even if it's just, nothing fancy, none of the crazy awesome Legion stuff, just to be able to have my Imperial Assault guys painted up. That's what I'm really, really looking forward to. And then, because I still only just have the core set and the Rebel Saboteur. I don't know why I bought that one, because it was a hot item at the time. So start getting at least first wave stuff and have a nice painted group of miniatures to play with a group.
Sweet. I look forward to hearing how that goes.
No, I'm still like, even if I do one figure pretty okay, I'll still be like, what if I ruin it?
Well, see, that's why I started with figures from blister packs, because the answer to what if I ruin it was, well, you can just buy another one for $10-15.
Yeah, very true.
Instead of ruining one from your core set, which I don't know, you can still find those figures on eBay if you really hate it and don't want to like strip the paint from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's all that I've been playing, and I think what was Leo doing this week alone? He had Legion one night and Destiny the other?
I think he's doing Destiny right now as we speak.
Cool. Well, hopefully he does well. Maybe we'll get a text from him mid-record and he can add to what we've been playing. But rather than discuss the past any further, we're going to discuss the future. We're going to try. We'll see if it happens. If it doesn't happen, well, oh well. Another grand plan down the trash. But I'd like to start gearing this month's shows looking ahead to GenCon, because it's coming up first week of August. And I am quite sad that you won't be able to be with us, Joe. But I know you'll be watching at the very least the InFlight report live stream, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
If it's going to be 7 o'clock Eastern. So, you're not going to be like on the road just coming home from work at 4 o'clock, are you?
I get off work at 4:30, so I guess I'll watch it and then miss like 10 minutes while I drive home and then watch more.
Okay, that's not too bad, I guess. So yes, the InFlight report is going to be Wednesday the 1st, 7 o'clock Eastern. And we kind of so we do have to go back a little bit and talk about I don't even remember what it was called, the Galactic News Flash, whatever it was at Worlds that...
yeah, I don't remember what it was called.
Because it was so forgettable.
The Hyperspace Report.
Aha! Hyperspace Report. Where we kind of thought that might replace InFlight Report as the big Star Wars news event of the year. But all that turned out to be was X-Wing 2nd Edition. So I think, unless they do some crazy stuff like they did in 2016 when they announced Destiny like a week before GenCon, I think we can probably still count on getting the majority of our big news items at the InFlight report. And speaking of X-Wing 2nd Edition, I think we can almost be guaranteed to have some more announcements, although they haven't been shy with doing previews.
Well, I think all of the previews have been for stuff we've known about since the launch, just expanding on that, except Lando's Falcon, which I assume they wanted to get the word out while the movie was still, in people's minds. So I feel like for X-Wing they might just announce like one more ship for each faction that wasn't in the first edition, and then maybe like the second wave of ships that were in first edition redone for second edition. That's my prediction. They're going to give us a new Rebel ship and a new Empire ship, because with the Lando's Falcon, we already got the new Scum ship announcement.
Oh, that's a good point. I keep forgetting that one is Scum. Which I think is a good call.
Which annoys me.
It annoys you?
No, it should be Scum. But it annoys me because I didn't want to get a Scum conversion kit to play Scum, but now I do because that thing looks really cool.
Oh, speaking of Scum, this is kind of an aside, but they did release a preview of the new Slave 1, and Leo had commented on the Discord that he liked the old paint job better, And looking at it after he said that, I guess I do kind of agree. They seem to have very much the same sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, a matte paint job? Or
It looks almost more toy-like, this new one.
yeah. And the
Maybe.
Lando
I don't-
Falcon kind of has a similar look, I think. But that one should look cleaner than what we're used to, certainly, with Falcons. But I don't know. Some of the
wonder
paint
if-
on there.
I guess I don't know if I read that article all the way, if it explained it or not. Because I remember them distinctly pointing out that the Y-Wing has a new sculpt, and the X-Wing and the Fang Fighter have new sculpts because the wings move. I wonder if the Fire Spray and a lot of the other ships are just the same sculpt. Like, I can't imagine they change the sculpt for, like, a TIE Fighter.
Yeah, I sure wouldn't think so.
Obviously, this one has a new paint job, but I wonder if it's just the same sculpt. Because I might be tempted to buy a Y-Wing pack, even though I have, like, 3 Y-Wings. Just because I like Y-Wings, and if it looks nicer than the ones I already have, that's probably worth it. But if it's not a new sculpt, I mean, even if it was a new sculpt, I don't think I'd want to get the Fire Spray pack, just since I already have 2 Fire Sprays from first edition, so the conversion kit would be enough to satisfy me there.
And they never re-released a Fire Spray. They just had the one same Fire Spray, but then they released the Scum version in the Most Wanted pack, right? I'm just trying to remember if
Yes.
they had more than one. Okay.
Yep, that's correct.
And I wasn't sure, talking about second edition again, if they still had more details of the app or any other rules details that had been left somewhat unclear, or if they needed to expand on anything else like that they
I'm sure
might go
there's some
into.
like minutia that people are still confused about, but as far as like all of the major rule changes from the last game, I think they've laid it all out there. I don't expect they'll show us anything about the app unless it's maybe like a screenshot or two. I don't think we'll get like a live... well, they're releasing the game at GenCon, so you'd think they have to have the app ready, unless they just expect you to play with the quick build cards until full launch.
That could certainly be. I wouldn't see that as a bad idea to make it, if they had any sort of tournaments, early tournaments going on, because they certainly seem to do that, to have early tournaments, and that'd be a pretty fair way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they have been pretty good about getting, well, I suppose with one notable exception, the Imperial Assault app, they've been pretty quick to get some of their apps out the door to coincide or even precede full releases of whatever game their apps support.
So here's a question for you. I assume, well, it seems pretty clear to me that in the design for second edition, they've left the door open for factions like the Republic and the Confederacy, because they've separated the First Order and the Resistance into their own distinct factions this time, rather than just being part of the Rebel and Empire faction. So technically, in X-Wing second edition, there's already 4 different distinct factions. And I think some things say light side or dark side only. I'm thinking about Legion. That's how it is in Legion. But in any case, there's already 4 factions in Legion in X-Wing second edition. That seems like they've left the door open to introduce Republic and Confederacy ships, which make sense to me just because most of the things they're going to be releasing for this game are things they've already released in first edition. If you start putting out stuff like Clone Wars era ships, now that's a brand new wave of ships you can put out that doesn't feel like recycled content, even if it is all new, fresh, and exciting with second edition, rules and sculpts and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think they could drop that at Gen Con? Being like, by the way, Clone Wars is coming to X-Wing.
I would love it if they did. I think they might hold off for a while.
Right.
So, like, because they have a pretty full slate of products, I think, until at least next May. Well, actually, no, because they've got all the first wave
Basically,
stuff.
just got first wave, and
Yeah.
then Lando's Falcon. I think that's all we know about.
Okay, so we got to start looking ahead to winter.
Technically,
and early
there's
spring.
like wave 0 already with Saw's Renegades and the TIE Reaper, which I don't know if I want to. I like U-Wings, and I like that Saw's Renegade like makes them do more, but I guess U-Wings just by default will be playable in second edition because they will have updated rules. So I don't know if I want to buy that pack or not. It has really cool paint jobs though.
Mm-hmm. So to answer your question, I would love to see Clone Wars stuff, but I think they'll probably hold off. And I think they totally will do it. I think that'd be fantastic. I would love, love, love to get... Oh, especially with the new Force rules, they can finally do Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka in the Interceptors. Well, they could have an Interceptor, and they can have the first one, just the Jedi Starfighter, which I think you guys like better than I do.
I like Obi-Wan's ship from Episode 2 more than their ships from Episode 3. The ones that look like weird proto-TIE fighters, I don't care for those very much.
No.
I
like those better. Yeah.
Although I like the... I don't know if it was elsewhere, but it's definitely appears in the TV show, that Delta fighter where somebody was like, how about we shift the astromech from like off to the side to right in front of the cockpit where it makes more sense that it would fit without poking through the whole ship. I like that design better. Then we get Plo Koon and Sassy Tin. I don't know how you say his name. I always just call him Sassy Tin. Got the horns.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably the right way to say it.
It might be like Sassy Tin or something. But Sassy Tin.
And then we could probably get Asajj Ventress in something other than a ship she never piloted, as far as we know.
They might give her that ship from the Gendy cartoon.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, I think that would be terrific.
I feel like playing as the droids would be super boring, to me at least. I like battle droids, but I don't like the Vulture droids or the Hyena bombers or the Tri-Fighters. I don't like any of the ships that the droids get.
Yeah, they are lame.
Even Grievous's ship is kind of boring to me.
Maybe let's have the CIS shuttle, the one that became...
the Sheathapede?
Whichever one became Phantom 2.0.
Yeah. Yeah, that was... I think it's called a Sheathapede, which is a really uncomfortable word for whatever reason. I feel like we've talked about that before.
Well, I don't know that I've ever heard that, but sure, why not? I have now.
I'm locking in my predictions as they're going to announce a new ship for the Rebels and a new ship for the Empire that have not yet existed in X-Wing First Edition. And maybe they'll announce the conversion kits for First Order and Resistance.
Ooh, yeah, that's probably pretty likely. Well, what do you think would be reasonable ships? Like, for never before seen in X-Wing, what would be good for one Rebel, one Imperial?
Rebel.
And are there any new things from books or comics that seem reasonable?
I feel like there was, and I can't think of it.
Oh, they
just reread the Kanan comics recently, and he stole a guy's ship, and that was kind of cool.
There was some sort of like heavy TIE fighter from Solo, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's obvious answer number one. The heavy TIE fighter, probably a medium base ship. In the art of Solo, all the concept art makes that heavy TIE fighter out to be much bigger than a regular TIE fighter.
Oh. Well, there we go.
For the Rebels. I feel like there was something that I just looked at that I was thinking about, but I can't think of it. I don't think there's anything from the TV show that we don't already have in the game.
I was just thinking of that too. Something from Rebels, but I don't know. Oh well.
Yeah, got nothing.
All right, fair enough.
I mean, it could just be another YT variant, but that doesn't sound very likely to me.
Yeah, no, they really have hit all the highlights.
Right. Once the new TV show comes out, they'll have a lot more stuff for the Resistance and First Order factions, I'm sure.
Yeah, that'll be good.
There's the Mel Crawler, which is 9 Num ship.
Boy, I'm just sitting here trying to think of something. All right, well, we'll let our brains percolate on something else right now. So, of course, Destiny is another one that is sure to show up. And we at least have a fall release coming. And then I'm thinking they will announce the base set for winter.
That sounds likely. I mean, the new set literally came out today. Are they going to announce anything that soon? Maybe I feel like maybe they'll announce something, but it'll be pretty vague. They'll be like, "This is the name of it. These are the products. That's it."
I was going to say they might tease us with something like just a card, like some card they're really looking forward to having out, but they really sort of did that with this set, today's set, Way of the Force. I mean, we've got Snoke already, and General Leia, and Luke, and a whole bunch of rebels, so it's kind of like, well, that's a lot of the major stuff. We don't have any solo themed stuff yet, so that could be a thing for sure.
Yeah, that seems kind of like a likely next well of content to pull from.
That's going to be a lot of light side yellow. And maybe some neutral yellow. That'll be nice too.
Yeah, I mean, I would put a lot of those characters as a neutral or dark side yellow.
And do you think there's going to be any surprises with Destiny? The 2-player set was kind of an out of nowhere surprise. I'm still wondering if they will ever try to reiterate on that and sort of make it better.
I don't think they'll release any product that's... I could see them doing like a new draft kit with new draft characters or something like that, but I don't think there's going to be anything kind of unexpected.
And I guess we're still just going to be guessing on new units for Legion.
Yeah, I'll be very surprised if they don't announce new stuff for Legion. I honestly don't know what that could be. I am expecting them to bring in Chewbacca sometime soon.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they have bounty hunters galore to pull from.
I also want a new vehicle for the Rebellion that is, maybe some kind of land speeder with a turret on top. Some kind of tank type thing or light speeder with a gun mounted on it. I really don't know what's coming for Legion, which is weird. Chewbacca is kind of a given. And besides that, it's like, well, I guess we'll see what happens. Death Troopers seem very likely to me.
Yeah, we can't just go down the line of Imperial Assault figures and try to think of what's adaptable because they cater to such different gaming, not mentalities, but just different flavors, I suppose. Maybe General Wise. Is he in the game yet? He is an upgrade card. Oh. But his crazy, stupid AT-ST isn't, is it? It's just a regular AT-ST, I bet.
Yes, but his upgrade card lets the AT-ST become sort of crazy.
Oh, that's neat.
I would really like... they could do the tank from Rogue One that I think is kind of ugly. I don't care for that tank.
Oh, yeah,
Or the tank from Battlefront 2 2005. I don't know how to describe it. You know what I'm talking about? is the Republic and the Empire have the same vehicle with different paint jobs in that game.
Like
there was one dude on top in a turret that he was exposed in a turret up top, and it's a 2-person vehicle. Had like big runners on each side as hover thing.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I sort of remember that.
I would love that. Yeah, I don't know. I think I will be very surprised if they don't announce any new products, because they've been announcing new stuff for Legion pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But I don't have any solid guesses.
It seems really hard to predict anything with Legion because of, I don't know if it's the scale and what they're the type of game that they're trying to build for. It seems like so many of the characters that we would expect to see in a Star Wars game just might not fit here. Like Lando, it seems a little not incongruous, but it just wouldn't really fit as much.
They definitely give him his like general costume.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm thinking about units in Imperial Assault. I'm like Dewback Riders. That's like a hard maybe. Like kind of that would work. That would be cool. I had a lot of fun painting those. I haven't actually painted any of my Imperials yet, but
have they done ISB agents yet?
No, but that doesn't sound like something they might do in Legion. Mm-hmm. Thrawn seems like a obvious choice to add a new commander unit.
Yeah, I guess he did set foot on ground a few times.
Mm-hmm. See, I don't even know if they'd do Palpatine or not. I feel like they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like he's in Imperial Assault, but somehow it feels fine in Imperial Assault, but it would feel really weird in Legion.
It'd feel about as weird as it does seeing him hopping around on Battlefront, just
right?
Shocking everybody.
He actually got removed from the game temporarily.
I saw that. I was like, funny. Thank goodness.
I guess there was some kind of bug that they thought was just so bad they needed to just cut him out until they fix it. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Of all the parts of the game that I think just don't work, like that one really does not work for me.
I think, all right, now here's my hard lock prediction for Legion. Each faction will get one new named unique character, whether it's a commander or an operative. I'm not sure. And a new vehicle.
Okay.
That's my... Mark me down.
All right, we're marking you. So, new unique character and new vehicle.
For each faction.
Because they've got how many different units now? Like 3 or 4 apiece? Like just regular old Joe units?
Each one only has 2, like, standard trooper core unit. CORPS. Okay. Each faction has 2... Well, I mean, there's some stuff coming out. But the stuff coming out isn't... That's like special forces. So, I mean, they could do a new, regular type of trooper. Like, even thinking for the Rebels, I'm like, what would even fit there for the Rebels? Just like a different kind of generic Rebel trooper?
That always bugs me, trying to think of, like, just army units for the Rebels. It's like, you can only have so many types of regular guy with a gun.
Right.
With Stormtrooper, you can at least... be like, it's the Stormtrooper, and the Snow Trooper, and the Scout Trooper, and the Flame Trooper, and the Jet Trooper. I don't know. I'm just not imaginative, I guess. Is Fleet Trooper, the one that came out with Leia, is that one a Special Forces unit, or is that just...
No, that's a regular core unit.
Okay.
The Commandos and the Scout Troopers will be the first Special Forces in the game.
And the Commandos are like the Endor Commandos, yeah?
Yeah, and it's got a prune face and a Mon Cal. But Imperial Assault.
Yeah. What you thinking?
I think we will hear nothing from Imperial Assault.
You know what they might say? They might say, hey, the app is out. You're happy about that, right?
When did the app come out? November? December? Maybe they'll just announce new content for the app is coming.
That would be neat.
That's going to be my hard lock prediction. they're going to say there's a new campaign for the app on its way.
That would be fantastic, because looking at Descent, they tried to just release like hard copy, paper, new campaigns, but they only released one of those, and it seems like that's the direction they'd want to go to keep people buying things, is to just buy new campaigns that use the same old figures. But I do think that the digital outlet is probably the best way for them to do that, and I think that would be fantastic. Have you gone all the way through it yet?
I've still only done that first level from that YouTube video.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was not familiar enough with the basic rules to be able to just sort of get through the really, really simple tutorial at all quickly. Plus, doing it on my iPad is old, so it was also very slow. But all the same, I do hope that they announce new content for the app. RPG.
Hard prediction, nothing.
I think that's probably a good prediction.
Locked in, final answer.
Yeah. They have historically not been good about announcing anything RPG related at the InFlight report, and I don't know why, because whenever they open it up to questions, they always get somebody asking about a missing class source book, or if they're going to just do anything else. And they're always like, "Yep, well, we can't talk about it." Like, well, you've got enough interest. Maybe you should talk about it. Although I really want them to maybe tease a new setting source book. That seems like that should be what they are gearing everything towards now.
Yeah, I haven't picked up that Dawn of Rebellion one yet, but it looks amazing, and I really want it, but
I really want it too. I mean, I don't know why I haven't pulled the trigger on that one yet. That is the one other book that I really want to get.
Stat out all of the characters from Rebels in it. Like, I can look at that book and see what Chopper's RPG stats are. But I just don't play enough to like justify spending money on that, especially when I'm getting Legion stuff and their Imperial Assault stuff's about to come out, even though it looks really cool.
I think when my group starts up Edge of the Empire again, I will try to have that book on hand, because I mean that's the era that we're playing, and it's got Rebel stuff and Rogue One stuff, so it's for the right audience. And yeah, I mean that's a great book, and I hope they do a Clone Wars campaign setting. I hope we get to see a sequel campaign setting, especially with the new TV series coming out pretty soon. I think it's lots and lots of synergy there, and people are all into prequel era again, maybe again for the first time. Everyone has very fond memories now of the prequels.
I guess, yeah.
It's a renaissance for the prequels.
Man, if they had a Clone Wars era source book, that would be sweet.
Oh yeah, that was one of the other Saga Edition source books that I loved the best, was the Clone Wars era source book. And at the time, all they had was the theatrical movie and season 1.
More than you never did end up getting the KOTOR source book for that, did you?
No, I should have. I am kicking myself every day that I didn't get that. Between those two, so Core Book, KOTOR, and Clone Wars, I could have been happy with just that for Saga Edition. And then to go along with that, all of the vitriol from Leo for liking Saga Edition, even though it's just fine. Thank you very much. And Armada, I'm going to go ahead and say nothing. That's my hard lock.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. Nothing for Armada.
Which, I mean, obviously every time we talk about it, it's sad because it's also a good game, and it just gets lost in the morass when you've got all the X-Wing stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they had that, from all accounts, really great campaign box.
Right.
It's like they just try experimenting with it.
Maybe they'll do another one of those. That would be that sounds like a safe expansion if they just do that. But I'm expecting we won't hear anything about Armada.
Yep. Nope. That's good prediction. And you know what? I guess I could have put Rebellion on here.
If they did like a Rebels themed expansion, I would get real excited. But again, I'm not expecting anything for Rebellion. I don't think that game needs any more expansions. Although if they did, that would probably get me to play it more often. Because every time I play it, I'm like, damn, I need to play this game more because this is awesome. But it's a 4-hour game. It takes a long. You got to plan it.
A Rebels expansion would be perfect, I think. I think it'd be perfect. But like you said, they sort of fixed everything that they needed to fix with the one and only expansion that they released for it previously. So if there's not much else in terms of rules that they need to work on, then it's like you said, it's fine as it is. And I hope, but it's not going to happen. Nope, that they would at least have the decency to give a fond farewell to the LCG, since GenCon is the last stand for that game.
An Oscars in memoriam type segment where they just show different pictures of the game.
Yeah, and of course they'll have wonderful things to say about it, like, oh, we had a great community. This game ran for, quite 6 years. And like, oh, we had this many expansions and this many cycles, and
please go really buy it from because it's still sitting on shelves.
And it's on sale. Go buy it now.
No, we're not. They're not going to say anything about it.
Nope, they're just going to forget that it ever happened because
that's when you stand up during questions. With you have an empty core set box and you kick it on stage and be like, "Look what you've done to it."
I should be really drunk for that too. I'll just have a flask in hand. You're like, you did it.
Or you just holding it up in one hand and gesturing wildly with the other hand. You murdered it.
What's in the box?
It was alive and I felt it. And they're like, I'm afraid in your poor sales you killed it.
No, it was alive. I'll give out the no. The patented Darth Vader no.
And do you think there will be any new games?
No. I definitely don't think there will be any new games. At least for Star Wars. I think they will have enough to announce with a lot of their other properties. And if anything, I think they will look for ways to cull some of their Star Wars lines. I don't want to see Imperial Assault go away, but I think we decided that this final wave, the Tyrants of Lothal wave, is probably the end. And I think
have no idea. I don't know if it's the end or not, and it's my favorite game. Mm-hmm. And it's weird to say I don't care if it's the end or not. It's my favorite game, so I'll keep happily buying it and playing it if they keep making it. But if they stop making it, I'll be like, cool. Now I can save money and put more money towards Legion, which I'm also enjoying. I still like Imperial Assault better than Legion. But more people around here are playing Legion. Mm-hmm. And, it's hard to buy both of them at the same time. And all of my Imperial Assault stuff's painted, so if they stop making it, then I can have a definitively 100% painted collection.
Yeah.
It does seem like it would be a decent stopping point, though, now that they've finally gotten the rest of those Rebels characters out. If they had stopped before giving us, Kanan and all them, it would have been real weird.
Yeah. Because, there were so many, cycles left unfinished. Like they had a couple of Rebels people. It was like, well, where's the rest?
Mm-hmm.
And we have a suggestion from chat that of a potential new product, and I gotta say, it's he says, please don't do this, FFG. But you know what? I don't see that it would necessarily be outside the realm of possibility. And so Christian says Star Wars Battalion. So it'd be a miniatures game like Legion, but only in the scale of AT-ATs being standard size units. So it would be smaller things the way that they did with Armada, where X-Wings and TIE Fighters became tiny, and then you had the bigger ships. And so this would be like moving like whole big squads of people and having much bigger vehicles out there. I don't see... There you go. Play Battle of Hoth over and over and over again.
I'd rather they didn't. That's what I thought Legion was going to be. It wasn't.
Yes.
And they'll have... So we got Legion and Battalion and... Like, what's next? Company?
Division.
Squad.
Report to my division. I don't think they actually know how divisions work. Yeah, so I think if anything is going to be going away anytime soon, it'll be Armada and probably Imperial Assault by this time next year.
Armada's going to outlive Imperial Assault. I'm saying that right now because Imperial Assault has... I mean, they're completely different games, but sales-wise, I'm sure Imperial Assault and Legion are kind of bumping up against each other. Legion, I don't think is... I think it's still the most distinct thing in their miniatures games. You know, it's...
Legion is?
I mean, Armada. I think Armada's fine. I don't think that's going anywhere.
Okay. You think it's just that...
I think they're going to keep being like, here's another 2 ships. See you again in 7 months. We'll tell you what's next. I don't think they're going to be like, you know, it's just kind of sitting there and they'll like push something out every once in a while. But I don't think it's going anywhere.
That's an interesting prediction. I guess since we are more removed from the Armada scene compared to the other games, it seems like it's much more on the periphery, on the verge of being cut down. It
does get much less articles than all the other games.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder if... so, let's go back to Star Wars Battalion, which we all agree should not happen. But what if it launched as Clone Wars era only? Ooh. So you don't have AT-ATs, you have the AT-TEs, those 6-legged things, and the big turbo tanks with the big wheels against the Hailfire droids and the dumb-looking spider ball droid things.
Yeah, then they could have the Gungan shield generator thing.
I think we're on to something.
Doing their job again, as usual.
All right. If you had to announce a new game, you're doing the press thing, and they're like, all right, Evan, you're going to pitch a new Star Wars game right now, and we're going to make it. So you just get to announce the game you want that you think is not going to step on the other game's toes, that people are going to play. You know, you're going to get totally fired and ostracized from the industry if this doesn't work out for you. So you got to make this count. You just got to come up with a game to announce to this crowd at the InFlight report. Because this is how Fantasy Flight Games works.
Yes, obviously it is. Does it have to be a new game?
They've already warned you you're not allowed to reboot the LCG.
Okay. Well, much like they brought back a classic role-playing game, I think they should... Oh, I'm reading chat. I shouldn't read chat while I'm trying to be serious. But...
I like it. Luke Skywalker Milkmaster, the adult themed party game.
Oh, that's going on a t-shirt. Bring back the CCG from Decipher. What anniversary would it be? Let's see, 1994. No, it was 90. It's 95. Came out in 95, so it's been 23 years. The 23rd anniversary. You know, they would announce it, and it'd be like the 24th anniversary or whatever if they brought it out like next year, or however long it took them to release the West End Games RPG. They could bring out the CCG, and they'd have huge sales. And people would be like, see, old stuff is better than new stuff. Meh. Actually, in all seriousness, a new card game that is not a collectible card game, but maybe not an LCG. I feel like an adventure card game would be something that they could do. Somewhere between an RPG and a card game, but it's not like one of the co-op LCGs. Something akin to...
I don't know what you're describing. It sounds fun, but I can't... Because I'm like, oh, so like Arkham LCG, and then you're like, but not like that.
I guess I'm thinking of the Penny Arcade RPG card game that's set to come out pretty soon, Thornwatch, where it's a board game you can just pull out of the box and you can just play it. There's no like deck building that has to happen, but it's all sort of card based, but it's hard to describe. It's a card RPG and you play through a story, and I think that would be really cool. So it would not be competitive. It'd be more like what they tried to do initially with the LCG, but playtesting said it wasn't good because people wanted to play as the bad guys. But I think a story-based card game would be fantastic, and I would play the crap out of it.
What's the name of it? That's what you say to the crowd, then you walk off stage and don't take questions. Just the name of it. Or you're in the crowd like that Jedi Fallen Order announcement.
Oh yeah, I'll just sit there in the front, and I'll be asked, "Do you get to hold a lightsaber?" Like, you get to hold a lightsaber. What would we call this? We would call it. I don't want it to be like Star Wars Jedi something something. What could we call it? We call it Heroes of the Galaxy.
Just call it Rebel Assault. Just call it that.
Perfect. That name hasn't been used in 20 years. Yeah, I don't know. Sabak 2. Yep, Han Solo card game, The Revenge. I don't know. Now I'm going to start making this game and see what I can come up with.
You just also at the same time you make it have to make a suitably unique sci-fi universe for when you have a game made, if you actually want to make it.
Yeah, that's true. So I can have that on the side. So basically, I guess what I've just described is Imperial Assault, but with a card game.
Does it have dice?
Maybe. Maybe not.
I think Fantasy Flight will need you to have it have proprietary dice.
Oh, yeah.
Now that the LCG is dead, I think every single Star Wars game from Fantasy Flight has custom dice except Empire vs. Rebellion.
Ugh, that game. People like it. That's fine. But yes, I do believe you're right. I think
that's why they got rid of the LCG. They weren't pushing enough plastic dice.
You might be onto something. All right, so then we got to have dice for this game too. Great. You'll make it happen. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't come out with a whole new dice app for Legion instead of adding Legion dice to the already existing dice app.
I think they haven't even added the dice to the new to that app.
What, for real? I thought they had.
I don't think they did. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I saw people complaining about the fact that they hadn't added that because apparently people use that app, which is weird.
I mean, when I get too angry about rolling duds on X-Wing, I pull out the phone just so I can have a different set of dice.
Just need more dice.
Yeah. Apparently, that's the solution. But they are going to have... They actually brought out a dice app for Legend of the Five Rings RPG, which is a completely different dice set than the Genesis RPG, which is just the same as Star Wars RPG, so they'll find a way. Life finds a way. So do dice. Ooh, another suggestion, a card/board tactics game.
Man, I love their custom dice, but I wish some of their games used regular D6s, because I have some really fun, fancy, sci-fi looking D6s I have that I never have occasion to use.
Well, you pull out the old West End Games RPG. You play that guy.
Maybe I will. Also, I'm probably not going to buy the 30th. I want to buy it because it looks cool. But also, like I
probably won't run it.
If I had the money to do that, I'd just buy that Dawn of Rebellion book first.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would love to have that, but I wouldn't run it. Not because it's bad. I like the version that we have very much.
It's a lot funnier.
The new one?
The current Star Wars RPG system?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It has so much opportunity to make things like silly, which I like.
Yeah. Christian in chat can certainly tell you what Brill Bodwazi has pulled out of his butt to get them out of trouble. It's been interesting.
Literally pulling things out of his butt to get them out of trouble?
I think that may have... Oh, not yet, he says. But it's bound to happen. I mean, the Eope that we recorded, that certainly set the precedent. Set a high bar for poop humor in Star Wars. Well, I think we got... Oh, did I ask you... What do you think there's any possibility of a new thing, or what would you like to see if they announced a new game and you just got all into it? What would you hope that game would be?
I think I would want it set in the Clone Wars era, only because Destiny is the only product from them that gives us anything from that era. Mm-hmm. Not that I dislike the other eras, but we have so much stuff from there. So give me a new game where you play as some Jedi or some clones in the Clone Wars. And I kind of want a miniatures game, but I don't, because I would want it to just be a board game that isn't constantly having waves and waves of expansions.
Yes.
Something like Epic Duels or Rebellion, just a box that sits there. And then maybe every once in a while you could release an expansion, but it's not like a regular thing.
Well, let's work on...
Redo Epic Duels. No, I don't need to do Epic Duels. Destiny kind of fills that niche of your fantasy battles.
A classic release brought back after 20 years.
Honestly, I'd want them to redo Clash of the Lightsabers. I think I've talked this game up before. There's a video of it up on our YouTube channel. Just redo that game with all sorts of lightsaber wielding characters, each with their own custom deck. You can just have a starter, and then, I'll go buy the Ventress deck, and I'll go buy the Ahsoka deck, and I'll buy the Kylo Ren deck. And each character just has their own deck. There's no deck building. Each character just has their own deck. You sit down with somebody else, and they have their own character, and you fight it out, and that's that. That's my dream game.
Or they could remake Senate Simulator.
It's still on my shelf, and I need to play it. I might try and play it this weekend. The Jar Jar Binks 3D adventure game. I'll play that, and then I'll decide if that game deserves a special edition or not. Next year is going to be that
Black Series
20th anniversary.
Yep, next year.
This when they're going to roll out all the special edition Phantom Menace merchandise. Oh,
goodness. You know what? I'll buy it. If they re-release that Jar Jar, what was it? The sucker lollipop. There you go. Give me one of those Jar Jar lollipops.
Just go to. You can't just lick it. You gotta go to town on it. You gotta tickle the uvula with that thing.
Oh, wow. All right. So I think that's probably it for our InFlight report predictions. And next week, or whenever it happens to be, I won't be around, but you and Leo can talk up. I don't know. What are you going to talk about? Legion stuff and Destiny stuff. Talk about how he's going to win the entire LCG tournament.
We'll find something to talk about. It's
find
probably going to be Legion or Destiny. Unless
right.
some breaking news drops between now and then that interests us. Maybe I'll just pitch a bunch of games that feature Jedi as the main character to Leo for an hour.
Yep. You can only play as Jedi. It's an RPG where the only thing you can play as is Jedi. It's like Destiny, but it's only blue characters. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week. And once again, thank you, Joe, for being here. And thank you to patrons for making this happen. And thank you to everyone that's listening and downloading and leaving us comments, ratings, and reviews wherever they listen. We appreciate it very, very much. And I don't think there's any other announcements to make. So, in the interest of going to bed pretty soon, everyone have a good night. And we'll catch you next time on the next episode of the Jodo Cast.
Ta-ta.
Bye.